Oh, yeah, sorry. My computer died. It was plugged in, but I don't know. It fucked up. And then my internet was shit, so Hangouts quit on me. So I'm back. I sent everybody the link again. It's in your Twitter. It didn't seem like it was 5 minutes, but damn, it must not last 5 minutes. It must be longer or shorter before Hangouts cut you out. Hey, Carly. I love you more. I'm so glad you said hi. How are you doing? How's my Carly? Hey, Maggie. Yeah, I know. Me too. I had my stream that I started earlier. I was just making Crystal laugh and get her mind off stuff and no drama. Something happened with Stephanie, so I didn't mind that she came on and discussed what was going on, but it's too much, Carly. It's way too much. Yesterday was insane. Like, I was so emotionally drained by yesterday. Like, this whole week. Like, I don't know. And like when Marie was like, what did she say? I'm a 30-year-old. I don't know how old she is. And she's like, I'm a 30-year-old sitting on a bed crying over YouTube. And I said, hey, you're not the only one.
I'm just going to put it in Discord. Oh my God. Sorry. I'm going.
You're going to what? Put the link in Discord?
Yeah. So then they can just get it right away.
Okay.
Okay, guys.
So Amanda, I dropped your PayPal link like 30 times in the end of your other stream.
Literally. No, probably more than that, to be honest.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Crystal.
And I said, pay me, bitches.
Pay me, bitches.
It was like one right after the other, after the other. Okay, so let's get back to Hangouts. There we go.
Okay. I got really good skills.
Hey, Carly. The link's in Discord.
I still have the stum. Aww.
Did you scream at the 17-year-old hipster call center internet dude? I hate having to call people like to get customer service for anything. Like, it's probably I hate it more than anything.
I don't have Dusty money anymore.
Especially if you can't understand what they're saying, and it makes it so difficult.
Right.
But Bob, you gotta pay, Bob. That's how this works.
Bitches.
Why did I just put I am?
I just got your text, Amanda, and I'm already here. My service sucks so bad.
I just got a missed call.
I'm crashing your party.
I thought it was plugged in. It stays plugged in. I don't know how it got unplugged, but it died. And then I plugged it in, and it still shut off again a few minutes later. But then when I turned the computer back on, my internet didn't want to work, and then it took forever to load the page back up, and it cut me out by then. Hey, Sass.
Chaos, I'm not the only one.
Hi.
Hey, what? This is me off. Why is it every fucking live stream I'm ever on, my picture is always on the end? Why am I always on the end? I don't
Amanda's
know.
on the end for me.
You're not on the end, asshole.
You know what? It's alphabetized, I think.
I don't know.
It's alphabetized because it goes Amanda, Crystal, Dammit, Jenna, Minnie, Sassy, Stephanie. So it's alphabetical.
See,
It
for
can't
me, it
actually
goes
work like that.
Amanda,
Does it really?
Stephanie, Chaos, me, you, and me.
I see it the
So
same way she
you're on
does.
the
Baptized for me.
I'm at the end.
Not for
Maybe
me.
it's just me.
It is.
on the screen that I'm watching. I watch on my tablet and I talk to you guys on my phone. On my tablet, you're the second one from the right.
Yes.
See, my
Same.
shit
Yeah.
hates
Amanda,
me.
Amanda is first.
Chaos, Minnie, Sassy, Stephanie, me.
My
Yes.
phone hates me.
It's just you. Thank
It
you,
is.
Carly.
It always is.
I
I'm
appreciate
so
that.
lost.
Hi,
That's funny.
Carly.
I'm so lost.
Chaos is blocking us all after this. She's like, you all are crazy. Official.
What are you talking about? She done blocked the
No,
shit
y'all
out.
aren't crazy enough. There, neeners.
I love you, Bob.
Hey, you guys, is Bob Gervais, is he related to Ricky Gervais? Does anyone know?
No.
I asked him the first time I see him before he was Bob.
I don't even know who Ricky Gervais is.
He's a comedian. He's so funny. Oh my gosh. He wrote the comedy The Office. He was in charge of, he came up with the idea and wrote it and stuff.
His stand
The
up about the
Office?
Bible is hilarious.
Oh my gosh, it
I'm gonna
is.
check him out.
He's
Oh, man.
hilarious.
He's the original guy in the BBC Office.
Yeah. And he wrote it.
Oh,
And then he
okay,
helped write
okay.
Oh, never mind.
the American one.
I know who that is.
See?
Dumb.
Even
Yeah,
Bob's
you should
got
watch a
his
stand-up.
favorite doesn't.
Yeah,
I'm
and
horrible with names, you guys.
he's also a major animal advocate as well.
Yeah,
I'm horrible
he totally
with
is.
names.
Bob's a
And-
fish advocate.
Hey, Lynn.
Aw.
Yeah, he is.
Your feet is not
I have
hard.
seen Idiot Abroad, Carly.
That's cutting people.
Already.
Who, what?
I like the Patriots too. I think I remember, like, I see you cutting people like with the knives all the time.
Oh my fucking god.
Lynn, she's always in the chat with her
Stupid
knife,
ass
like
piece
the
of
knife
shit
emoji.
shop chat.
Hey, Lynn. I won't hold the Patriots against you or the knives.
Or the
Like the Patriots. Stop it.
That's dangerous.
Hey, Penny.
Cowboys.
Hi, Penny. Oh, yeah. Hi, Lynn.
Hi, Penny.
So far behind.
Idiot.
Hi, Lynn.
Were you on Top Chat?
Hi, everybody.
I'm on live chat.
I hate Top
I'm
Chat.
on live chat.
Top Chat sucks. Take it away, YouTube. Nobody uses it. It's literally a pain in the ass.
I don't
And why
understand the
does it-
difference.
I'm
Why does it
over
automatically launch
officially.
that way?
What it is, it filters out certain words, right? Because like there's YouTubers that have 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 people watching them at a time. And
Right.
there's a lot of words said in there. So if you don't want to see those words, you can just watch Top Chat and you'll never see them.
Well, what comes on Top Chat?
Yeah. How's it? It just deletes those comments and you only get certain comments?
Yes. So like say you say the N word, it's not going to show up on Top Chat.
Hmm.
So then that's YouTube's way, like to give people a safe space type situation. And you don't really even have to mod because when chats are going that fast, nobody can mod a chat that fast anyway.
Oh
You
my
literally
goodness.
can't read them.
You can't read it even if you're just viewing and you're just trying to follow it. It's just so fast.
Shit.
Yeah. The content creators that have that many people watching them at a time, they literally only read super chats. They don't even read the chat. They can't. They only read
Right.
super chats. And they get so many super chats, they had to spend an hour at the end reading their super chats. They make
Right.
thousands off their
Yeah.
live stream.
Yes, they do.
Mhm. I understand. I'd like to announce, I don't know if anyone here follows Richard Gannon, the Spartan Life Pro Coach. He's great for working through like abuse issues, and he has suggestions for healing the brain and things and he's really, really awesome and just is entertaining the way he puts things and stuff. He's awesome. And if you go subscribe to him, he on Thursday morning, he's put together kind of a healing program for the brain and some exercises for everyone to do and stuff. And anyone who's suffering from anxiety or PTSD or anything like that, it would be helpful. He is doing for free for anyone who's subscribed to him. He'll send you an email, and it's happening on Thursday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern time.
Where's his YouTube channel in the chat right there?
The Spartan Life Coach.
Mm-hmm. I'll definitely subscribe to him. I need to watch things.
And so
Watch
even if
things
you
that
have
are
like
healthy for our brain.
a screen recorder or something like that, he's going to go over some real life like exercises that you can start doing right now to start helping your brain adjust and get healed from stress and become more resilient to stress, etc. And it's great stuff.
Yeah, we need more positive, healthy things for our brains.
Yeah.
Especially.
And I think he's fine. I mean, I love watching him in his little tank top.
Oh, let me see.
He
Now
has really
look at him.
He has great shoulders and awesome arms. And even though he's blonde and blue-eyed, because I don't like that, but he's very like square jawed. He's really manly looking. He's really attractive. Very much so. And smart and funny and obviously kind. He was a victim himself of a narcissist. So he gained healing from that and then moved forward to try and help others. That's kind of his backstory.
Oh, he does live streams too.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, he is. He's a cutie for sure.
Isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay. And he has an English accent too, which is yummy.
Yes. Loving it.
I do too. I'm seriously.
My husband has
such
a country accent. It's almost like if you see him and then you hear him talk, people are like, that literally can't be him, because it's really shocking how he talks compared to how he looks. I don't know how to describe it, but it's really not what you would expect. He sounds country.
Oh,
I'll make it
I'm sorry you're having a hard time.
Who?
If you want to talk about it, I'm here.
Wait, who said that?
Oh,
Helen.
Helen, you can stay and hang out and just listen if it's better. Don't go off by yourself if you're feeling that way.
Helen's such a sweetheart.
Mr. Boot, you're fun. Thank you.
I
No,
feel that
Mr.
way
Boot.
about Mimi's voice. Does it for me.
Who?
You.
Me?
Keep talking. Yes, you.
Yep.
You feel the same way, Chaos? It's a great voice. I don't know what it is, but I love your
Oh,
voice.
thank you.
You could definitely do like anime or something with your voice. It's really distinct and strong and sounds good.
Oh my god,
Yeah,
you
I
must have
like
watched
her.
my WoW video.
Hey.
I was a phone sex operator before.
I can see that.
I believe it.
I was. And
Give us your best sex phone voice. Go.
hi.
Oh yeah.
My name's
I mean-
Sassy.
Sold bitch. Sold.
So the thing is we were divided into groups and I worked on the PG line. And so we couldn't use the right
How
words
the
for
fuck
body
do you
parts.
have a PG line on a sex fucking
That made me laugh.
call me?
It's like
Hold on.
touching,
It says
touching your
boner.
I don't know.
I'm
I
not
guess
touching
because
my
they
body parts. I'm rubbing my toes, baby.
no.
Do you like
I'm-
the way I'm rubbing my toe?
Whose idea was it to have a PG line?
So the whole thing was the PG line was less expensive than the full sex line,
Oh, okay.
right? So, and the PG line, the deal was the call would hang up at 10 or 15 minutes. It depended what number they called. It would automatically hang up because this is after when phone sex lines first came out, people could call and you would be on there forever and ever and ever and you never had to hang up. And then there was lawsuits over that and stuff because phone bills were like thousands of dollars. So the FCC made a restriction that they could do that and they could charge so much for whatever minute, but they had to disconnect the call and have the person had to redial. They couldn't just, because what if they fell asleep? What if they, whatever. They couldn't just get all that money. So you got bonused if you kept the person on until the phone disconnected them. And what we would do is we were instructed to use like fruit. So like I have some nice big grapefruits or my nice big coconuts and things like that, and go, oh, I love bananas. I love long, really hard bananas. I like them when they're hard, like that. And
Suddenly I
it
feel
was
dirty.
awesome. It was awesome money when I was in college. Awesome. And I could totally make my own hours too. So I already had a part-time job. But anytime when I had an evening where I wasn't doing anything, or if I was up in the mornings, I could just log in and I collect money.
He said, yes, Sassy, yes. Dude,
Mr. Big already flew up and down. Sassy has a big ass on her.
listen,
Y'all missed that in the last damn chat. I was sitting there talking to him about it too.
Mr.
My
Boo,
milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, it's
Believe
better than
me.
yours. Damn
When I
right.
tell
It's
you.
better than yours.
she's a beautiful lady, okay? Not to make her head big, but she's a very, very beautiful lady. She knows that, though. It's not going to make her head any bigger.
You're just making Mr. Boot head big right now.
Listen, if I called a phone sex line and got my voice on the other end, like, I could not fucking imagine. It is the worst to me. It literally sounds like a fucking dying cat to me. I hate it.
No, it doesn't.
Carly, to answer your question, I watch Trisha on occasion, but I've never typed in her chats or in her comments. I don't
Trisha.
comment on her stuff.
I love Trisha.
Hey, finish that comment. Don't just leave with that name, please.
What?
I
Oh.
can't.
Paytas, Trisha Paytas.
Thank you.
The thing is with Trisha is she uploads constantly, and I totally get that, but I don't watch her that often. I don't watch all of her content,
Yeah.
but I do love her and Jason together. I
You
love
just
their
have to
videos.
know.
Where
If you know she's a troll and you take her at that and know she's a character, I think she's a good-hearted person deep down from what I've seen from her. I think a lot of the things she does for the camera is just for that. It's for views.
well, she knows what she's doing.
Yeah,
She knows what she's doing on
good. Fuck
YouTube.
yeah.
This is her
And
job.
It's hard.
This is
It's
her
not
job.
easy. I mean, look at Graveyard Girl. You know what I mean? It's so easy
Yeah.
to let it get away from you, and she has.
But you know
She
what?
keeps it fresh, keeps it going.
But that's the thing is, even when she does have her breakdowns and stuff, and I know some of it she might exaggerate or whatever, but when she really is real, she does share what's real.
I'm a
She
chicken
totally
nugget,
does.
right? Like, who can
I'm a gay chicken nugget on top of it. First she was a chicken nugget, then she said that she was a gay chicken nugget.
That was internet gold. Like, that was that was turned into millions of dollars because she said she was a fucking chicken nugget. I commend that. She's amazing.
Wow.
I
Yeah,
wish
I
I
mean-
had what she has. I wish, I'm sure most YouTubers wish they had what she has. I couldn't imagine anybody.
Well, and I know
not feeling that way.
she's had work done, and she uses eyewear extensions at times too in my hair because I love
So would
I get my nails done all the time.
So
I
would
buy
I,
makeup
if
all
I
the
could.
time.
Yes.
I like girly things. I'm that girl, and
would
I
be
like
Trisha
that about
Paytas
her.
Jr. if I had her money.
Boot
Guaranteed.
said, I don't know what the
Yeah.
fuck they talking about, chicken nugget.
Look, if I had her money, you all probably wouldn't even be able to recognize me. Body-wise. Face-wise, probably not. I probably would get cheek fillers. I would get Botox. Maybe not. I probably would look like a totally different person. I'd go crazy. But absolutely, if you got it and you want to do it, fucking knock yourself out.
Yeah.
Go for it. I don't see one problem with that whatsoever. Some people have overdone it.
Everyone has a right to do what they want to their own bodies, and I have a right to laugh at it.
Yeah, some people look.
Or totally appreciate it if it looks
or
really
totally
good.
appreciate it. Correct.
Yeah. Like him.
Sometimes they look.
The other day I was watching the newest season on Hulu of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I haven't watched it in a while.
Oh God, why do you even watch it at all?
Him looks different.
Of course she does.
That's when it's like, come on now. You completely look like a different person, and you were already gorgeous to begin
Well,
with.
and that was even looked different from when she became infamous. When she
Yes,
became
absolutely.
infamous, she looked way different too. I don't watch the show. I watched like the first couple of sessions or seasons, but I don't watch the show anymore. I don't care that much what's happening in their personal lives. I do follow pictures. Like if I see him on the cover of magazines or if I see pictures, I follow pictures. I love how Chloe redid herself and stuff like that. And I love that about her. Chloe's my favorite.
She looks good, but her face too looks. Her
Yeah,
face.
they've changed it. They've changed their faces, definitely. They
She
have.
got to a point where she was perfect, in my opinion. She was perfect,
Right.
body wise.
And then they do it one more time.
Yep.
They go one step further, and it's like, why'd you do that?
Yeah, I felt bad for her though, because here's the thing, right? When you have that much money, I couldn't imagine, because it's already hard to make your way in the world and figure out who you can trust and who you can't trust and what people's intentions are.
And who you are, yeah.
You know, even her, like with being pregnant, and they were so happy, and then all of a sudden, you know, this comes out, and I think it was a setup, to be honest, by the girl. I think, which, you know, he chose to do what he did. That's all. It's his fault just as much as it is. But that's something she probably would never have had to deal with if she wasn't Khloe Kardashian. You know, it's a hard.
Well, that's a hard call to say, because right now there's some girl whose husband is not famous at all, and he's cheating on her at a bar down the street. You see what I'm saying? Yes. So you can't,
Nothing,
you know, the one
her.
thing I will say
she couldn't have done anything else. She waited on him hand and foot, gave him everything he wanted. She's gorgeous. What else has she done? A cheater is gonna cheat, right?
But that's where you take it in the direction that's toxic. It's not anything about her. He cheated because of him, not because of her. There's nothing she could have done to prevent it. There's nothing she did to cause it. It was his choice, him. He had a character flaw.
Absolutely. That's
a severe character flaw.
It doesn't matter what and you know, that has to be so heartbreaking, because it seems to me, from an outsider looking in, that she feels like no matter what, first of all, she has the whole world waiting to see whether her relationship is going to fail or not. You know, that puts needed pressure on it. And then this happens right before you have the baby. Well, then you have a baby involved. So it's hard even more. You know what I mean? There's an element that's there now that you can't take back. It sucks. I feel bad for her when it comes to that situation. Totally.
Yeah, well, there's a trade-off, right? They also have money to do whatever they want. They can get whatever they want, do whatever they want. So there's a trade-off.
And you know, some people are good with that, right? Oh, I got the nugget link. Like a lot of, this is me speaking really general, but I've seen a lot of really rich men that their wives are okay with whatever they do. They know, like Donald Trump and Melania, for instance. I'm pretty sure she knew about all the situations that happened with the stripper. And, you know, they have kind of a unspoken agreement.
Yeah, they turn the other cheek. They pretend to be blind to it. And there are marriages like that. Absolutely. There are also marriages where it's open between them, but not as far as the world is.
If both parties are okay with it, there's no problem with it whatsoever. If you're okay with it and she's okay with it, knock yourself out. Do whatever makes you happy. But when it's you're trying to have a monogamous relationship in front of the whole world.
Yeah, and it's lies and it's betrayal and stuff. It really does suck. I will say the one thing with that is, it used to be like in the 50s and stuff, is that all celebrities and everything, their lives were perfect. So the media portrayed everybody as their lives are perfect. They're very happy. Yes. And I think that it's really good that now we understand problems are everywhere. There's no perfection. There's no...
Oh, yeah, because we always are going to get the Instagram. I call it the Instagram version of everybody, right? Like, because you see these Instagram models that they take their pictures, everything's perfect. They look perfect all the time. They take, they set up like the pictures that they take for Instagram are photo shoots, you know, and a
Right.
lot of people take that as that's their life. Oh, I wish I could have that. I wish I could have what they have. When in it's a lie, really. It's a facade.
Well, and that's kind of my point is back in the 40s and 50s, if you go back and look at film stars and stuff, they had a publicity company that handled how the media portrayed them. That's why Rock Hudson, even though he was gay, in the media, he was straight. Because they painted a whole perfect picture. Now, at least, we do see reality in, not necessarily on Instagram, but like we do see stars and Hollywood stars. We see that they have problems. They have divorces. They have cheating. They have things like that
Have you
go
ever
on in
seen
life.
Boot? Do you know what Boot looks like?
No.
Can I show her a picture? Boot?
He's so cute.
He's a hottie.
Hey, Darlene.
Don't tell him I said it.
Stephanie, he can hear you.
Thank you, Darlene. Hi. Oh, Darlene's icon is love. That's perfect.
Aw.
I love that.
Yeah, but you are right, because before, and I never even thought about it like that, actually, before you were saying this right now, but it is now becoming a lot more acceptable, I feel like, to actually be human. When before,
Real. To be real.
Yeah, and before in the media, you couldn't be, because you would be crucified for actually.
Right, they couldn't even have real problems. They couldn't have real things. Yeah. Like it was like, so their image was so groomed and so constructed. Fake. Yeah.
Yeah, completely fake. I never even thought about it like that, but that is a very good aspect of it. And it probably helps take off some of the pressure, because nobody's fucking perfect. Just because you're a celebrity doesn't mean you can't fuck up. Everybody's gonna fuck up eventually. You know, you're not Jesus. They're not Jesus. I mean,
Maggie May said, "Oh my God, this is funny. Oh my Lord, what a train wreck! Now you're gonna have me binge watching the chicken nugget.
You'll love it.
I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna fall in love with her. You're gonna fall in love with her. She has her troll videos that are like cringy, and she always has. She has her cringy videos, and she has her awesome videos. And
You've never watched Trisha Paytas? Is that what she's saying?
Yeah, she didn't know who Trisha Paytas was.
Oh wow!
So she just went and found her, and now she says she's going to be binge watching the chicken nugget.
And she went on all these reality shows just to be on TV. She went on America's Got Talent, or no,
Celebrity Big Brother.
She went
in the
on
UK.
Addiction. She went on Dr. Phil. She's been on a lot.
What's in it? Oh, Ellen. She's been on Ellen.
Yeah, she can do that fast reading. Have you all heard her do the fast reading?
Yeah, I hate it.
What the fuck is that? How?
I hate it.
Actually is reading what she's saying. She knows what
I know.
Saying.
Right, yeah.
I know.
It's crazy.
I thought I talked fast, but no, nothing on her. I have nothing on her.
I only watch like a video or two of hers every once in a while. I can't watch like her every day.
That's what, Amanda, I said the same thing.
What I do,
I can't do her everyday stuff. I pick and choose. I can't that much of it.
I'm glad she's finding happiness, though. I honestly feel like she's a sad, lonely person, and everybody deserves.
It's horrible to say, Stephanie.
She herself.
She also has one, Maggie, where she's laying on the floor with her purse. She's drunk and she's crying over Marilyn Monroe.
And then she has ones where she'll put glasses on and say that she sees pretty much like dead people talk to her.
What about the one, you guys, where she was in the bathroom and she was taking a shower? He's taking a shower right now. Should I show you? And there's no one in the bathroom at all with her at all.
Oh my God, I didn't see that one.
To be honest, I don't know whether that was trolling or not. Could be, could not be. There could be substances involved in that one, to be honest.
Right, exactly. Could be anything. We don't know. We just know that she was telling us that she saw someone in her shower.
Apple
If
She
she
is a
was
trip.
trolling, yeah, if she was trolling on that one, good on you, Trish. You got me. I
Yeah.
believe you.
Definitely. Definitely.
I'm sure she knows what she's doing.
Yeah, she's good. She knows
And
what
she makes
to do to make the algorithm work for her, right? I think that's another Mr. Food. I think that's another part that happened to Graveyard Girl, right? You have to know that to be really successful, and you have to work it like a game, you know? And if you don't know what you're doing, right? Like his Graveyard Girl was doing
I
what she
cried
did.
on her video with Shane, and then she did a video
Yes.
explaining about it. And oh my gosh, I love her. I've
So
watched
good, right? But I think what she did is just keep, doing the same thing she was doing before. But when the algorithm changed, it really affected her. She went from making 12 million a video view wise to like 200,000. I mean, which is not nothing, but to
Right.
have like 15 million subscribers, it's nothing,
quite a difference.
Yeah.
Well, and like she said, she lost her. I don't think it's so much a game. I don't think it's so much playing a game. Trish is good at the trolling part because she gets YouTube and she understands people are so judgmental of her, and she understands there are people who just send her lots of hate.
But
She
I think
understands
the
that.
tags and
But-
whatnot have a ton to do with the algorithm. And if
Oh,
what
absolutely.
happens,
Meta tags,
see,
absolutely.
yeah, because like before, right? It pretty much, if you made a video that your subscribers liked, it would be promoted to your subscribers. But because YouTube has had so many hit pieces out to make it look like it's promoting something that it wasn't, by the mainstream media, of course, because that's its number one competition, right? So it looked like they were promoting bad things, and they didn't do that deliberately. So they had to do something about it. So what they did was, right, if you don't do it exactly right, your videos aren't even promoted to your own subscribers anymore. Say like the people that watch me, for instance, if they don't click on my videos for a few days, then they won't get the notifications anymore, even if you click the bell. And then another thing is that if you're if you don't watch videos for a certain amount of time, you're completely unsubscribed from that person without your knowledge. So if you don't know to go and look for them, there's no way for the video to be promoted to you. That's what I mean by playing a game. You have to know how to make it show up.
To market it. You have to know marketing. Yeah. Well, and she does that part, and but she's very much stays true to herself, even if she's pouring her heart out and just like she knows people are going to trash her. She just talks and says, I know lots of you guys are going to have a problem with this. She says things like that, but she still shows being vulnerable and stuff. And I think Bunny for a while there didn't want to show, she even said in her video, she didn't want to show that she was scared. She didn't want to show that
her
she was
own head. And I think it was a perfect storm, right? Because her views went down, and then she didn't know how to make them go back up, and she didn't want to admit that. So then she just kept internalizing to the point that it was built up so big in her mind. She felt like she was fighting a monster, a bear that she couldn't.
Yeah. Well, and then, but then she was so lost of who she was even.
Yeah.
Because she got kind of lost in who she was, and she got lost in what to do with her channel and what people wanted from her. And
how much pressure that would be to feel like that, because and to worry about, her personal belongings. Because I watched Peter Ma made a video about it, and he said he was kind of iffy on whether she should show her belongings and how people would portray that. But I think that people that actually are happy for her and subscribe to her would be happy for her accomplishments. It's because of them that she has what she has. She was able to make palettes and make to do collabs with people and put her name on things because she has subscribers that love her. I think that they would be happy for her. I don't think they would take it as being braggy, because she doesn't come off as that way ever.
Right. Well, and she stopped showing how vulnerable she is. She stopped showing being raw.
because her house is gorgeous. That
Oh, yeah.
content itself, and I'm glad that she's kind of, I don't think it'll happen overnight, but I think she is going to open up. Like nothing happens overnight. It's hard to change a way that you've been for a while now and go to be in the way that you used to be. But I think if she would even share a little bit of her personal, and not to be braggy, but just to be like, look at these beautiful things that I have, and people like to see beautiful things. People watch unboxing of ritzy things all the time. I don't think it would come off as bragging. Do you?
No, I don't think it comes off as bragging, but I think that she definitely didn't want to be throwing in the face of her subscribers money, because that's not what she's about.
Right. And I get that. I totally understand her stance on that completely, but I don't think people would have taken it that way. I know
Right,
they would now.
That's just her being in her head. Yeah, that's her being in her head and thinking, what image do I want to promote, instead of just being at her house hanging out and just being at her house hanging out.
And it's not only just a beautiful house, right? That's not even the only reason I want to see it. I want to see it because I think it shows how artistically creative she is.
Oh, and she is. But I will tell you, that doll room, it freaks the fuck out of me. That doll room is scary as fucking.
That finishes the 90s room. I think it's going to be so cool.
But yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine that she's into those kind of things, to me, makes her more human and makes her more interesting.
Oh, totally more interesting. But I'm going to tell you right now, if I stayed at her house and I found myself like in the dark and I wandered into that room in the dark, I want to tell you right now, I would freak out. I don't like dolls as it is. I do not like dolls.
Especially scary ones like that. Fuck no. I'm the same way. I won't even watch videos. Like I've watched a few, like what's that one called? Conjuring? Isn't that about
I don't even know.
Well, anyway, no, that's not the right one that I'm thinking about. But anyways, I watched one that was about a baby that lived in the basement. And that shit scared the fuck out of me for like a week.
A baby lived in the basement?
Yes, an evil one. A baby doll.
Oh, a baby doll. Okay.
Not a baby. That would be a whole different video.
An evil baby in a basement is scary all on its own.
Oh, what the hell is the name of it? Somebody tell me in chat. I know you guys know.
Hey, Steph, Mr. Boot said that he's hot. So he said it a little while ago. He said that he's hot, brah. So you said you had a picture of him.
I told him to send me a new picture, so I would have it at the top. Hopefully he will. Check your DMs.
I'm always up for looking at a hot guy. I really am. So that's cool.
And to me, he is a very good person.
Did you see what he just wrote?
Dead.
Swiggity swooty, I'm coming for that booty.
Telling you, Mr. Boot, she's a winner. Winner,
my milkshake. I said this earlier. My milkshake things on the boys' yard, and they're like, "It's better than yours." Damn right, it's better than yours. I could teach you, but I have to charge.
You should slide into her DMs. Just saying. No pressure.
Be gentle. Use lube.
No, she likes it. She likes it rough. Yeah.
She likes it rough. Touch your face. Make her.
I am a freak behind closed doors. I really am.
No.
Oh my gosh! Do you guys want to hear something? Do you guys want to hear something really funny?
Always.
Okay, so this is a guy who, for the last 6 years, like he's wanted to like go out with me. Okay, I'm just gonna read to you. He had a freak out, and so and we have each other's phone numbers. Like he'll let me know when he's hanging out or when he's headed to a barbecue that I might be going to, and he wants to know if I'm going, etc. Whatever. Okay, so this is after an afternoon when I came home. I had just seen him and said bye, and we hung out and just as friends. We're only ever going to be friends. He knows that, okay? So this is him, and keep in mind that I'll tell you when I have a response. Okay, the first one is, your ass belongs on my face.
That's aggressive.
I got, the next one, it says, I'm joking. Then like 10 minutes later, geesh. And then like 40 minutes later, sicko. And then, are you okay? Then this is like a week and a half later, miss you. Then like 5 minutes later, you're so fucking sexy. And then like an hour later, ta-ta, till next time. And then he says, I get 3 weeks after Monday, want to go to Folsom on the boat. My fat needs a tan. He's kind of heavy set. My fat needs a tan. Think about it. Let me know. Night. And I don't answer again. So here it is. Like, I think this is 9 days later. Oh, okay. So the people where we were hanging out, they played that song. Tell me, have you seen her? You know that song? Mm-hmm. And so he sent me a text that said, I see her. And then this is the last little section that I'll read, and you can just get the idea. Why are you leaving me? Because you want me to follow you? I want to go on the boat Friday with you, barbecue and get a suntan and kiss you only. I just figured out that I was not assertive and your glass was empty and that's why you left, and it should always be full. I'm sorry. That wasn't why I left. I will be more assertive next time. In my defense, you left when I was outside. I won't let it happen again. Have a great night. Then this is like 2 hours later. Miss you, please say something to me. I want to see your smile and your sexy lips. I want to kiss them. Please say something. Then like 30 minutes later, smooch, smooch. I'm a naughty little alpine boy. Fla, fla, fla.
Wait, can we go back to that one?
Flop. Did you say flop, flop, flop?
Fla, 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 like fla, fla, fla. Because I was telling him that he was telling me, he was like, well, will you just stay? And I said, no. And I said, I will if you say I'm not a little alpine boy. And then he did it. And I said, yeah, I'm not moved. I know you did it. And I know I said I would, but no, I'm not moved. And so I left anyway. Then, so he just goes on and on and on. And he's like, I'm sorry. I thought I was capable, but I'm not capable. There's no way I can play your game. No way at all. I love you. I'm always going to love you. I do. I love every part of you, every bitty part. I can't do this. The crazy part is I know I'm yours. If I'm wrong, I will never, ever get hurt. I miss you. Then like an hour later, grow a sack. Then like 2 hours later, where's my girl? Then like 3 hours later, that was like ice. Why don't you answer me? Why don't you ever answer me? I'm going to kidnap you and duct tape the phone in your hand so that you'll answer me. Oh, he's kidding. It's okay. He's not going to do that. Everyone would know to go to his house. I'm not kidding. You know how many people, he goes, everybody knows that I'm in love with you. And I go, I know. And he's like, everybody says we'd be great together. And I'm like, everybody's wrong. They're wrong. Well, we really don't match up. What he doesn't understand is even in conversations, like he'll go, I totally want to kiss you right now. And I go, see, right there. I'm not feeling kissable right now. I'm not feeling well. I don't want to kiss. And he goes, I don't care how you feel. I'm like, right there. That right there is why I don't date you. That right there is why I don't date you. See, I know that you're saying it to like be nice and that you're letting me know that you're attracted to me either way and it's fine. And I totally get that. And you're thinking you're complimenting me. But what you're really doing is disregarding how I feel. And I don't spend time with people romantically who disregard how I feel. Like I don't.
Leave me alone.
Ever. Right? That's why he doesn't get it. That's why he doesn't get it. And he'll tell everyone. I mean, over the last 6 years, he's told everyone, and he's told me, and he tells me a lot, and I tell him thank you, but he knows that. He even said, "Are we ever going to go out?" And I said, "No, probably not." And he said, "You're such an asshole." Oh my God.
Did you just say 6 years?
6 years, yeah. 6 years. Yeah, and then he thinks he tries to lecture me and tell me like he thinks that I have a commitment problem because I won't go out with him. That's got to be it. And my friends and I are just like, every time I bring a new one to them, they're like, really? Because I'm not a commitment phobe at all. I just have very high standards, and I'd rather be alone than with company. I don't want to devour sexually and
Okay, I'm going to interrupt
mentally.
for just a second. I have to go to
Just
bed.
devour.
Yes.
It's a good word.
All right. I'm going to class tomorrow. So I will see you guys later.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye,
Talk to you
guys.
tomorrow. honey.
Yes.
Yep, I'll be around tomorrow. Bye.
Have a good day at school.
Hi.
Have a good day at school. But yeah, I mean, I have to, the way that I am, I kind of have to have the whole package.
Yes, I'm the same way.
So I started off very, very shallow in my early 20s. I was very shallow. I'm less shallow, but I still have to be attracted to the person from Jump Street. Like, I have to think that they're attractive right out the gate. Otherwise, we're just going to be great friends.
I'm the same exact way. You can't be attracted to someone you're not attracted to. And you know what I don't find attractive?
What?
Dick pics.
I don't at all. But a friend of mine, he gave me a way to combat dick pics now. Now, I don't get them as often as most women do, but I do on occasion. And I have a set of pictures that I've sent back to them. One of them is a peeled banana that has have you ever seen any of those slicers that have like four blades at one time?
No.
Like they're like four knives that would be lined up together, but it's one tool. Anyway, there's a banana, it's peeled, and there's one of those that's cutting into it. That's one that I send back. It tends to stop them because they're like, "What is she? Is she saying she's going to do that to me? What the hell?"
I think it's because most men enjoy getting nudes, so they think that women enjoy getting nudes as well. But most women, I think, do not enjoy getting them. It's just not. It's not a thing that women enjoy.
Yeah, and I won't send nudes or anything like that. I don't do that either. I don't want them from someone, and I won't send them to someone. To me, I don't care what you look like naked or what you can do sexually until I know that you're an okay person and that you're not a douche, complete asshole. Otherwise, I don't care what your genitalia looks like or how well you can perform in bed. I'll never find that out if you're a douche because you're going to be gone before then. So, Yep.
I agree. Okay, so Mr. Boot sent us the picture. Hold on, Mr. Boot. I'm doing something, and then I'll screen share your pretty face.
He's already missing hours of sleep for work.
Oh God!
Staying
Okay,
up. That's it. You don't have to hurry. He's laughing out loud with his little eyes.
It's worth it. Okay, here we go. Hold on, let me get it pulled up first.
That's my name, Sassy. Oh my God, Sassy said my name.
Oh, he sent me four pictures.
Oh, that's funny. Maggie said if she ever gets a dick pic, she responds with things like, "What was in that pic? I couldn't see it."
Yes, that's good. That's a good response. See, most women, I think, do not sit around and want to get those.
Jenna said I said her full name, genitalia.
I'm dead.
I just got trolled.
Look at this cutie.
I don't like Brad Pitt, by the way, Mr. Boot. He's not my type.
What did he say? He looks like Brad Pitt, is that what he said?
He said some, but I'm not Tor. I don't know Tor. Who's Tor? Or Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt isn't my type.
You're a cutie.
Brad Pitt's good looking, but he's not my type.
That's Mr. Boot right there on the left. No, it's not really. He's on the right.
He's on the right.
Yeah, can you see him?
No, where did you put it?
You have to look at Hangouts.
Look at Hangouts. Okay.
Yes. See my screen? I'm screen sharing, so my picture will be his picture right now.
Okay, I'm in the call. So what do? I go out of the call?
No, just be in the call and look at my picture. Amanda might have to present me.
Oh, nice.
Isn't he cutie?
Oh, yes. Very nice, Mr. Voot.
Told you. He's cutie.
You just showed it to the whole screen.
Yeah, he told me to.
Oh, okay. Yes, very, very, very nice. Very nice, Mr. Voot. Very nice. How tall are you?
That I don't know. How big are your hands, Mr. Boot? What size shoes do you wear? Just joking. That was a joke. Size doesn't
very
matter.
nice. Very, very nice smile. Very nice smile. 5'2". I'm 5'9".
6'2".
Ooh, that's perfect, actually. That is perfect. 6'1" or above.
Yeah.
So you're good.
I'm 6 foot, or like it has to be 6 foot or above because I'm 5'8". I can't. With Jenna, she's just 5'2". Like that.
Yeah. Well, as they said, you're welcome to slide into my DMs.
Mm-hmm. He's a very intelligent person as well.
Good, because I'm a saposexual.
Very intelligent person.
Yeah. I have to have intelligence, and I have to have have someone who's also
voice too. I forgot about that. Chaos. Good point. He has a sexy voice as well.
Oh, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
That's
There's a little bit of an accent, French accent.
Ooh, an accent too.
Mm-hmm.
Stop, you guys.
Telling you.
Oh, mi amor. Well, and a French accent too. You know the skunk Pepe Le Pew?
Yes.
Okay, he's based on Charles Boyer, right?
No, I didn't know that.
Okay, the actor Charles Boyer, he's long passed away now, but he made a movie called Love Affair, and that was the original of An Affair to Remember with Cary Grant and Deborah Carr. An Affair to Remember, the famous movie. Do you know that one? Anyway, Charles Boyer was like big in his time, and he has a French accent. And that's why they based Pepe Le Pew on him. Like, oh, mi amor, I love you so much. Remember? And he chases the cat around. Penelope.
You're not shy. I don't believe it for a second. I sent you a link in your DM.
I know it's boring. What's boring, Penny? The same old same. What the boring? Are you bored, Penny?
I think she's talking about drama. Maybe not.
I can't with it anymore. I just can't.
Mm-mm. Okay, cool. What you doing, Crystal? You snoring yet?
No, not yet.
I'm just sitting there listening to the texts of a crazy man who's talk to me, answer me. It's just so funny. It's like I keep answering you, you just don't like the answer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, bored with Beck. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I've said this before. The reason that, because I watched back for a couple of days, but I do the same thing no matter what YouTuber it is. If they constantly are talking to the haters and constantly like talking to trolls and constantly like answering shit and constantly like, I need to set the record straight about XYZ. And they're not just sharing just moments with just them and people who like them and talking to the people who like them in chat and stuff. It gets a little much.
It takes away from their channel.
Yes,
You know?
which is why if you
And
look
their
for,
content.
if you look at the really large YouTubers who are successful, who do things like vlogs and stuff like that, the reason that they're successful is because they don't do that. You don't see them address haters or trolls or anything like that. You don't see them do it.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, I think it's hard, and it is hard. I'm not saying it's easy, but what even me, everybody, every content creator needs to keep in mind that people that are there supporting you are there because they like you. You know, the other people that have shit to say are just trying to get a reaction out of you. Of course, Mr. Boot, of course.
Good night, Mr. Boot. But yeah, of course they're trying to get a reaction, but that's why if you're going to be successful on YouTube, you don't feed the trolls. There's no way to do it and have it be okay.
I think you
Night, baby.
you make them feel
Look at you.
like the people that support you, you make them, because she has had a lot of support on and off. People have tried and tried, you know, and I think eventually it makes them feel like you don't give a shit about them, the people that are actually there to support you.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like the first couple times I was there, look, I like makeup. And the first couple times that I went in there, she was getting ready to go to an interview during that week or something. And she was talking about dyeing her hair. And I was like, oh, good. I like all this stuff. I like hair dye. I like new hair colors. I like makeup. I like that kind of stuff. And she's from Australia, so I really like the accent. And maybe she'll do stores and stuff around there, and I'll learn about Australia. So I was like, awesome. But
yeah,
then
Sammy did that in the past, and that was really something I enjoyed. She went to a thrift store there and looked around and stuff. It was really good. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought it was going to be something like that. Like maybe she'll take us down, like where she lives in Australia. Maybe she'll go vlogging and we can see kangaroos and stuff like that. It'll be fun. And so I'm all excited. She's doing her makeup. And the couple times that I was in there, she was doing her makeup. And I would say, you know, she would be talking to the haters and I would say something like, just relax and be you, just have fun, just get back to the makeup, or I really like that eyeshadow or something like that, like to be positive. But she wouldn't latch onto it. She wouldn't go with it. She kept going back. And I wasn't going to try to constantly get her to be positive and talk to the people in the chat who are like, we love you. Pretty soon the people in the chat were arguing with the trolls, and she's arguing with the trolls. Yeah. Everyone's focused on the trolls.
Yeah. And that's what they're there for.
Right. And that's what they got, what they wanted.
Yep.
They got what they wanted. So
it is hard though. I realize it's hard because you have to, know yourself and be, confident in who you are and to not let it get to you. And it is hard. It's not an easy thing, but it takes so much away from
but that's where you have to focus where your energy, what do you want to get back? So at that point, you have to make a decision and say, look, I want my channel. I want to participate with the people who like me. I'm going to be here and do what I like to do. The people who are going to hate, I'm going to have to learn to ignore them.
Yep. Absolutely.
And that's what it has to be.
I myself had to learn because I do want to, if people have good points, because nobody's perfect and I don't want to be in an echo chamber. So if somebody has a good point, I want to address it, but it does get hard sometimes to not feed into situations that really they're just there to derail from the conversation and take you off of what you're doing.
There's a difference between constructive criticism and out and out hate or trolling.
Night, Maggie.
Oh, good night, Maggie. Enjoy Trisha.
Maggie's so sweet.
But there's a difference between those things. And so you can address criticism or even take constructive criticism and take it and see what you want to do with it. Just because you get constructive criticism doesn't mean it's automatically correct either, but you listen.
Right.
But someone who's just trolling, like paying
And they
attention
turn
to
around and
that
yell
when
at
it's just hate.
right? You turn around,
Yeah.
say somebody came in right now, they're like, fuck you, you loudmouth, or whatever, right?
Right.
For me to turn around and scream at them for that, I don't know who they are, first of all, so why would their opinion even matter to me? They're obviously the one that's making a physical choice to come, watch, and to make a troll account to say these things, right? You know what I mean? So
Right.
they're just doing it to, if they were, it's weird. It's a weird phenomena anyway. That I think it's so weird because I would never do that, and I don't get
Well, you
it.
got to think. These are people who, on the general, maybe they're bored with their lives. Maybe
Yeah.
they're at home a lot. Maybe they're unhappy or whatever. I think you have to be fairly unhappy in your life to do that. To
Yeah,
make that's what you're going to do,
Yeah, 'cause you have to make it. You have to go through the steps of making the
And
troll
so-
account, and
and then
logging
to
in,
actively
making
do
the
it
comments
again and
all these
again.
things. Yeah.
I mean, what about the people who troll people for like months and months and months, and it's the same person, and they just devote themselves to hating that person? That's just like, that's a really unhappy person. That takes a lot of time and energy.
Yep, it absolutely does, and that's the kind of people that I just choose to not have any kind of association with at all.
Right.
Look how cute! Oh shit, where'd it go? Come back, Wombat. Oh my god. Did these things just walk around in the wild? Where are they? Oh, it's Australia.
Oh, they're wombats. Oh my God, wombats are so cute. I want one. I watch wombat videos all the time. I love them. Look at that one in the middle. Did you see
Oh
it?
my god, I'm obsessed. I didn't even know how cute they were.
It has a big smile on it. Did you see it? It's in the
Yes.
rose in the middle.
I'm gonna look up a video.
Oh my God, they're so
Anna, are you
cute.
awake? I'm back. Let's look. I'm gonna be able to hear it, but we can see. Oh, it's eating a corn cob. Let's see. Don't
How
wait.
cute are
Wombat. I'm just gonna mute it because we can't hear it anyways. I just want to see what they look like when they walk around. Oh my god! I want it. Show the wombat. I don't care what you have to say. Go back to the wombat. Oh my god, he's showing wombat dung.
Look at that. That's little. That's a young one because they
I'm gonna
get
go back
big.
and find another one. Oh, look at it.
Look at them. I know they're so cute.
Look at it just
They
there.
have one. They have one that's it's right there on the side where you with your screen. Hang on, put it up. There's one in it. Look at that. There's one in it's a rescue, and it's with the ranger, and it's just a baby, and he's running after his feet and hugging
here.
his ankles.
This one, I think. Oh shit! I didn't mean to do that. Replay. Okay.
Oh, Australian opossums too. Yes, they're so cute.
Look at it. Here it comes out the door. It's like a little kitten. Oh,
So cute.
Cash, are you still here? Have you ever seen one of these in real life? Anybody?
Look at it.
Harley? Anybody? There's 3 or 4 people in the chat from Australia. Somebody tell me, are these things just around in the wild? I need to know.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what his mom was hit by a car. His mom was hit by a car.
It's so cute.
So yeah. Look at that.
It has long claws. That's why I can't pick it up right away, huh? Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool. Let me find another one. Oh, a cuddly baby wombat compilation. That has to be good.
Yeah, and they go into a pouch like a kangaroo does. That's what he was doing when he held that down. He jumped into his pouch.
Oh, you're so cute.
I know. They have cute animals. Koalas, wombats, opossums.
Look at those damn claws, though. I bet it could fuck something up if it needs. Oh my God, look at it. It's so little. It's playing like a kitten.
So cute.
He has a blankie. You're adorable.
Oh, that one. That's where the lady, she's pushing him away and he's running and just being crazy. And she keeps warning someone who's off screen. He's going to get your feet. He's going to get you. He's playing. He's playing.
Oh, look at the
He's
porcupine.
terrorizing the living room.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh, I
I'll
love
take a wombat.
me too. I
Aussie
love
Southern
them.
Belle. Aussie Southern Belle said that she would send them. I don't
Yes.
know why. Oh, I wouldn't want to hit one with my car at all. I would go like 10, 15 miles an hour just so I wouldn't ever hit one.
Are they mean? They look like they would be mean if you approached them. Because those claws look a little scary, but they're cute as hell. Don't hit one in your car. They're like hitting a brick wall. Oh, wow. Yeah, I bet. That's like a deer here. That will fuck your car right up, some of them. People have been killed hitting deers.
Oh, they're considered something of a pest in the suburbs. We have raccoons, and some of the people around me, we have a half and half. Like half the community thinks they're pests, half of the community thinks like I do, which is they were here first. We built our houses here, and and I love them. I think raccoons are so stinking freaking cute, and squirrels and all wildlife. I love them.
We have a
So I
possum
like stuff like that.
comes and eats our food because we have an outside cat that was a stray, and we just take care of it. It lives on the back porch, so the food's always out there, and the possum comes, and it, no problem. I don't mind at all. He eats the food just like the cat eats the food. I love all animals, and I think they're so innocent and amazing, and I just love them. They make me happy.
I do too. And we have skunks and we have coyotes and we have wild turkeys around me that they're out on people's lawns and stuff like that.
Wow.
The turkeys you have to slow down, and it's $1,000 fine if you mess with them or if you hit one. So the turkeys are totally protected. So, but they're scary. I mean, turkeys will come at you if they feel threatened.
I've never seen a
You want to
turkey.
talk claws?
I don't think. Not that I can remember at all. I don't recall ever seeing a turkey in the wild. I know people
Have you ever seen-
hunt them.
Have you ever seen a rooster go at something, like a rooster that's defending? And so you know how it goes up and it uses its feet?
Yes.
So that's a rooster. So imagine a turkey's always like way larger, does the same thing, but way larger.
We have those big, tall, white geese here, and they'll do the same thing. Like you just leave them alone, stay away from them, because if you make them feel threatened, they will come and get you. They're scared.
Yeah. And we have some deer and stuff here too, but I feel for the animals because they're just trying to get along. I mean, their instinct is that they have certain water sources that they go to and certain things like that. And it's not like they can just pick up and move because there was a subdivision built.
We have taken their territory.
Yeah, exactly.
And pretty much put them, out of their element. They didn't do anything.
We put our element right in the middle of theirs.
Yeah.
So we took our element and said, okay, we're just going to put this here now, right in the middle of your house, okay?
Yeah, get used to
and
it.
And then we're mad because they're trying to exist.
Deal with it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Amanda,
I've always had a soft spot for animals.
You. I can't wait.
Is Amanda awake, or is she muted, or there she is?
Amanda, are you here? I may have to kick her if she fell asleep to shut the stream down. Because I'm about ready to play Zelda.
Yeah.
I'm so into it. You guys, if if you like playing games and you don't have a Switch, it is worth the money. I know it's expensive, but it is so fucking good. I cannot say enough good things about the Switch. It's amazing. And we bought Donkey Kong today.
So your advice is to get a Switch.
Yes.
Get one. Okay. I don't play games, but I was just clarifying for everyone out there who does.
I love the Switch. It's totally, it's expensive for what it is, you would think, but you could either hold it in your hands or hook it up to the television, and it's so good. Like the games are even better than I thought they could be.
And that's the big deal, right? Is because you can't play those same games with anything else.
Nope. We have a PlayStation 4, an Xbox One. We had 2 Xbox Ones, but we sold one because we didn't need 2. And we have a Switch because they're all
and the Switch. And so far, the Switch is the bomb.
My favorite right now. Yeah.
So that's good. You know, Minnie plays, right? She's she goes on and she streams when she's playing. Wow.
I haven't seen one of her streams yet where she's playing games. I want to.
That's something you could do if you wanted to, you know. You could stream your screen.
I need to figure out how to do that. I know how to like do it on the computer, but I need to figure out. I would love to do that from like the Xbox or the Switch.
Because
would be great if I could do that.
For Minnie streams, when she's doing it, she's playing the game. She reads out loud challenges and stuff that are going on in the game, and she's playing the game. But she's also following the chat and talking to us in the chat, and we're all talking to each other too.
Yeah, there's people that do it on Twitch that have thousands of people that watch them. But
yeah,
see,
that's what so you could do it.
My problem. If my internet was like great, like most people did, I could do so much more. I can even use OBS because my internet won't like it buffers when I use OBS. If I could use OBS, I could do so much. Oh my God. My show would look so much better.
I'm sorry, I totally forgot about your sucky internet.
Yeah. Well, as soon as there's another possibility, I'm going to jump on it. I think eventually we're just going to have to move to somewhere that has better internet. I don't think they're ever going to give us another option, you know?
Well, I think that you would move to, you said, more to an urban environment where things stay open later and stuff like that. And that there's more stuff to do. So I'm sure that that'll eventually happen.
Yeah. It sucks being here. I hate it. Like last night, whenever I drove out, it was 40 minutes to get to Wendy's, to get to something that was open.
Yeah. But I'm glad that it was open. What'd you end up getting?
I was so excited. I got 2 baked potatoes, which I got me and Mitchell because he was awake too, right? So we got 2 baked potatoes, avocado chicken salad, which was so good. Oh, it was so good. 2 Frosties, 2 junior bacon cheeseburgers. I was bad. I ate a lot.
Well, it was your night to splurge, and it was kind of like, you know, that's like a date thing because it's obviously, you know, the kids if they are there, they're in bed by then.
Yes.
So it's kind of like you guys got to enjoy time together, just you guys.
Kayla said, stop. It was so good. It's so worth the drive. I completely admit it. The gas station was open. Bought a pack of cigarettes. I was bad.
You know what's funny? We were talking about Trisha Paytas earlier. She did a review on the Wendy's chicken nuggets. They're like a different kind of chicken nugget. And I went and tried them specifically because she did that, because I never would have known that they even had a different kind of chicken nugget. But yeah, they have, next time you go, you can look for them. They come with
she gets paid for that. She should, because that's like great advertisement for them. I wonder if she
but no, she's not sponsored by that.
Wow.
She would have to declare. And it's much better that she's not.
Yeah, because you're getting a true review. They're getting a lot of free advertisement though, for sure.
Yeah, but that's why Jeffree Star. That's why he takes promo packages and stuff, but he's not sponsored by anyone or anything, and he gives absolutely brutally honest reviews no matter who it is.
Yes,
like that's what he's famous for.
Not that I have a problem with sponsored videos. I think if do it, if you do it sparingly. There's a lot of people. That's what I was saying about Shane.
Well,
and I
I
think
would
why
say-
he is so real, right? Because he doesn't do that. He makes good money. He makes his own money, but he doesn't take people's money for his
I would say
reviews,
just make sure you do sponsored videos where you stand behind the product, where you actually
Absolutely,
like
yeah.
if you do that, then there's no problem. Because if you'll be like, I use these shoes all the time, these are my favorite shoes, and that's really the truth. That's really the truth. But don't say I use this all the time and you've never even put it on.
I think it would be a slippery slope though, because once you started doing it, you would have to stand firm and not accept a sponsorship from something that you didn't stand behind,
Well, yeah. I mean, I was faced with the same principle constantly with sales, because there were slimeball salespeople who would say what they had to the customer to get the sale.
Absolutely.
So what would happen is when they get transferred to get actually activated in service, like I'm just taking the last place that I worked, like in this situation, they would get transferred to get service. And when the installer was hooking them up, they are saying, I was supposed to get XYZ, and that's not what they're getting. So now they already got the payout. The salesperson got the payout. Okay.
Yeah, it's the same. Yeah, it's
So
exactly
now-
the same concept, because you have your word is all you have, and once you say to someone, "Hey, this is good," and it's shit, you're kind of screwed from that point forward, really.
Now, here's the thing. Here's how this works. A salesperson or a person taking sponsorships, they can do that. But what happens is they become the churn and burn, meaning they're always moving to the next sponsorship because they're burning their last agreement. So they're on another one, on another one, on another one, on another one. They can keep it going for a short time. Unfortunately, word travels.
Absolutely.
So then pretty soon you're the one that isn't getting any sponsors because of you churning and burning. So it's a limited time, but they can make a lot of money really quick.
Yeah. So,
but I always took
it's
the
just
road
about
of
money
the
at that point. Really, you don't care about anything else. You would only have to care about is making as much money in as short a time as possible.
right. And I was always of the school of thought that I liked referrals from my customers. I liked my customers to be able to call me if they had a problem, if they needed me at all, they could pick up the phone and call me. If there was anything going on that they were uncomfortable with, in install or anything else, they could call me. You know what I mean? I developed more of a relationship with my customers. And so I would even come in like number one, but they didn't understand that was because after a few months, I had my own customers feeding me customers.
Right.
So I was making just as many calls as them, and I was getting just as many sales as they did that way.
And repeat
But
sales too is huge. Hey,
Yeah,
Kelly.
people would send me customers. They would actually say, call her here, call her here. Well, then I would get incoming calls, and those 4 or 5 a month would always put me over the top of everybody.
Yeah, because once you get your name established and your word is legit,
Yep.
your shit you sell yourself, really. Like your
Yes.
product will sell itself if you actually believe in it.
Yes. And I only worked for companies and sold things that I actually truly believed in the product, but also I would say no to people who it wouldn't fit. I did want them to be happy in the end.
Yes.
That's the point. So I had to make sure that it was a real fit and that it could help them and that they would be genuinely happy with what I was selling them.
Yeah, because you could sell if someone's a salesperson, they can sell ice to an Eskimo, as I've heard before, right? As a phrase.
Yes.
But if it's not a good fit and it doesn't work for them, they're not going to, the repeat sales is where the money is at really. The long term.
Yeah. And if you care about getting flack, because those salespeople who would churn and burn that way,
Yeah.
You can bet that after when the customer would get transferred into install and then have a problem, meaning they're thinking they're getting something that they're not getting or whatever, they would always, I mean, keep in mind, they just talked to their salesperson. They just paid for it, like maybe within a couple of weeks to a month.
Yeah.
So they're going to call them and they're going to light up their phone. And what those churn and burn people would do is they wouldn't call people back, or they would be really slow at returning emails, stuff like that, because they don't want to have to eat the chargeback.
Right. And they initially got whatever money and I think that happens to a lot of YouTubers too. There's a lot that don't. There's a lot that have longevity because they don't do that. But it happens a lot. They see, whatever company's willing to give them money that week, they push it, push it down people's throats. But then eventually you can't keep doing that. People eventually aren't going to listen to what you said if the products that you're pushing down people's throat are shit.
Yeah. Well, they're churning and burning their audience at the same time, because their audience pretty soon sees that over and over again. They're like, well, we can't believe anything that you say. So yeah, you say it's great, but we don't even, and then you start losing your audience, because why are they even watching you at that point?
Yeah. See, that's what I heard. Shane brought that up and mentioned that too. And I think that's one of the reasons why first of all, he knows how to reinvent himself and produce things. He's super talented. He's a great YouTuber.
Isn't he? He is so nice.
Absolutely.
He is such a genuinely kind person.
But I don't
just
think
so
that
nice.
he doesn't. With that comes him not, losing his integrity when it comes to pushing products, and he's not willing to take a buck for something that's he doesn't like or stand behind. And Jeffrey's the same way. I've never seen Jeffrey have a sponsored video, I don't think.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah.
No,
I don't think Jacqueline
he doesn't
does
take
either.
sponsorships and stuff.
Even though I think Jacqueline only has videos about products that she does like, which that's perfectly fine too, right? If you actually like them, you review them and you show them on your channel. That's that's a way to go about it too. You don't have to bash anybody. You can just not show those products on your channel. But I don't see her taking money either. I know she gets a lot of shit. But the one time that she ever put a product out that wasn't good, she said that and took it off the shelf. So
yeah,
I think you have to be that way. And there's a lot of people that are not that way. They'll take a buck. And I get it. I get that money, especially if you never expected to make money through YouTube and you don't have money to begin with. It's really hard to get sucked into that, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, but there's always the different kinds of people in the world. Like, I worked in sales. Obviously, I'm on a sales team. And one company that I worked for, we had 2 teams of 10, and I was the only girl. I was the only woman.
Yeah.
And that company set up the salespeople that, imagine this, you have a territory. Okay, so I give you a protected territory for your team. There's 10 of you. I send you out and you go to this area, and that's your protected area. There would be one from each team in that area, and you're in competition. So but I don't have access to any of your stuff, and you don't have access to any of my stuff, because at that company, there was lots of people who stole sales. So you could not be open about what you were doing or where you were going.
I bet
you couldn't talk about it in the office, because whoever was in your territory, they could overhear, I am going to sign paperwork over at this company XYZ at 10 o'clock. They're there at 9:30 and say, I'm just here to sign up your paperwork for you. That's my job. I'm just a signer. And they steal your sales. So we had to be quiet. So what the result was is that every customer, sometimes I would go to like a business complex and I'm knocking the whole building and everyone is telling me, you guys were just here. You guys were just here two days ago. You guys were just here. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because the other team member was already ahead of me, or sometimes he'd be behind me and that would happen to him.
Yeah, my ex-husband worked for a company that was, it worked like that. So I know exactly what you mean whenever you said that.
But that company did that for a reason. And the reason the company did that
Right.
was
You all
because,
work for her.
well, because eventually the company, the office that says you just came, they want to be able to be highlighted as already on service so that we don't have them on our lists. That's the only way they get out of having a couple people knocking on their door wherever. How crazy is that?
Yeah. So let me ask you this question. This is off topic, but you mentioned this. You said you were the only woman in your field of work. Do you think, in your opinion, is it because they didn't allow women there, or is it, in your opinion, that it's just more men are drawn to that type of work?
Well, after I worked there, while I was there, they hired the next couple of people that they did hire were women because I outperformed the men. But, you know, there's a lot of kind of good old boy treatment between salesmen. Between salesmen, it becomes more like a brother club. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so very much they can egg each other on and they can say, good job, dude. It's almost like a gym thing. Like if you've ever seen guys working out in a gym, they do kind of the same thing at work.
Like patting each other on the ass type situation. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. I mean, I've never seen that physical thing, but that same idea. Yeah. And so when you think about men who are, maybe they're going to college and they're kind of like that, they're kind of associated like they would be more fraternity brothers, or they would be more like that kind of thing, who are confident and who, I mean, definitely the sharks out there were always really good looking and smooth talkers, you know?
So but the point is, why do you think you were able to be successful compared to maybe other women?
Well, there's a couple of things that do that. I mean, you asked like why mostly men in sales. Like if you go to a car sales place, if you go to a car dealership, there's going to be mostly male salespeople. It just is the way that it is, because it is very much like so many things happen that are completely inappropriate in a sales position. And I don't mean always from like other coworkers. I mean, even customers can be very inappropriate.
Right.
I mean, very. And they think what's worse is if it's an inappropriate customer. Obviously, it's someone who thinks off, right? In an off way.
Yeah.
Because you don't act that way, right? So already they're over the line that way. Well, when they think that you need them because they're paying your paycheck, so they're buying you essentially with their sale. If they think that they have that in their head, they really go over the top sometimes.
Yeah, I could imagine.
I mean, I had one customer and I worked with him for months, and he was an accountant at the time. I was selling a product and that took care of payroll. And so I worked with him to try and get just one of his restaurants over so that I could show him exactly what we could do. And then we could work together and refer clients, because I was walking into businesses that often didn't have an accountant. And so in that way, I could counsel them and say, you might want to get an accountant and refer them over to him. He could refer payroll to me. It's a symbiotic relationship. So that's where I was trying to farm that. Well, at some point, he decides we'll go to lunch. We're going to finally go to lunch and we're going to sign up as customer. And before he did that, he actually said, why don't we just cut to the chase and I'll go ahead and sign all the paperwork that you want and you give me a blowjob.
Yeah, I could imagine that it's very inappropriate.
That is extreme. No one in my whole history of ever in sales was that inappropriate.
Yeah,
but that'll tell you some people can be really, really awful. So, and that was to my face. Like I was, when he first said it, I was like kind of in shock. And then I felt just furious.
So
and then I told him,
So, okay, my look on it, because a lot of people want to look at it one way or another, right? That, women aren't allowed to be in those positions, but, that's not the case.
No.
Men
No.
are-
It's not
are
that it's not
inappropriate.
allowed. It's that, and there's a lot to it. You have to be able to, you're the best salesperson in the world is not because they might be talented and all those things, but it really is how fast do you get back up after a no?
Oh yeah.
You
right,
have to keep, you might get no, I don't care. You might call a former customer who cusses you out for something that happened 3 years ago to them that you have nothing to do with. And
'Cause
you
it's
know
just a
you
company
need them.
that you're associated with.
Right.
That
But
doesn't
you
bother.
know that
Yeah.
you need them as a seed for later. So what you're going to do is you're going to listen to that entire tirade. You are going to make note of all those problems.
Yeah.
And you are going to, the next time you have to circle back around and call that number, you're going to make sure that you already remember the story, that you already know their pain point, that you explain to them that because customers like them were upset about certain things, now we've changed certain things. I just wanted to reach out and apologize for your experience and tell you we are rectifying the problems. Have a wonderful day. Then circle back around. Now I'm calling to see, just to check on business and see how you're doing. Now you're more open to talking to me.
Okay. Do you think though that this is a general statement? More often than not, women aren't drawn to doing those types of jobs.
Well, yeah, I would say there's certain jobs that they're not. Hey, it depends. It depends too on what industry, because in pharmaceutical sales, I was in pharmaceutical sales before.
Yeah.
And in pharmaceutical sales, there's a lot of women.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. The reason why I'm asking this, right? Because you have a lot of people that are feminists that say a really broad statement that women should be allowed to do this job because they're not allowed to do it now, and that they should be equal and everything, right? And I do think men and women should be treated equally. But the flip side of that coin is that if women don't pursue those types of jobs and are not interested in those types of jobs, that you have to take that into consideration as well.
Well, yeah. And truthfully, like in every company that I've ever worked for, I've been top sales, lots of times number one. I've been, a premier winner. I've gotten trips and things like that. I've worked with men, and I made more money than they did.
I think though that this may be the statement that would piss some people off, but I think it's because you know how not to emotionally react to certain situations, and a lot of women don't.
We are more emotional creatures. I mean, that's just been proven. We are more emotional creatures. And I will say that, you do have to be able to take someone yelling and screaming at you for something that you didn't do. It wasn't you. It's not your fault.
Me personally, I can speak for myself. I wouldn't be cut out for that kind of thing. I know that about myself. And it doesn't mean that I'm not equal to a man. It's just the way that my genes are and how I was born. I just emotionally am not cut out for that kind of thing. Some women are, but some women are not. And it's not that they're not equal and they're not treated equally. It's just the nature of being a woman.
Yeah, and you did hit something. I mean, men are less emotional than women are. So if they can do that part, like I said, manage when people are angry and stuff, they can be very successful. And we are paid quite well. The companies that when you have a proven track record and you can go get them money, you're the ones who go get the company money. So of course
you should be paid well because you're the one that does the work for the company, and you take abuse from every which direction, so you have to be being compensated well for that, or why would you be there?
And keep doing it. because, you know, in the long term, you really do have to have more of a manage on your psychological part, because you can't also get thrown for a loop because an angry customer calls you, because you never know when that's going to happen. And you might be walking into a huge presentation and you just listened to a voicemail or got a direct call and answered, and it was a completely irate person. And you have to go in and put a smile on your face and you have to present. So you have to be able to empathize, listen to the customer's problem, actually make note of it, take care of it, or even in some cases, alleviate them enough that they will be patient for your call back because you don't have time right then.
Yeah, but you can't take it personal. I think that's the part that's hard. And I think a lot of women, or some women that think that way, want to project their own insecurities onto all womankind. And that's what I have a problem with. And when I say things like that, people get upset, but it's just the nature of reality. Just because I don't choose myself to do jobs like that doesn't make me any less equal than another man. I'm not a man. I'm not interested in certain things, and that doesn't make it wrong or, you know, make me misogynistic because I feel that way, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I do think that there's certain industries, certainly the tech industry, they're having a breakthrough right now because the girls are not as prevalent as the boys are on the tech teams. And unfortunately, there's an element of youth involved where there's strong feelings about how that is perceived one way or another. In some cases, it's being perceived that they've been kept out.
Yeah, yes.
But then at the same time, it's also being portrayed that all the techie guys are in gaga over any girl. You can't have both.
Yeah, and that's
right?
not fair either. That would be the flip point.
What I'm saying is you can't have both those things. Those are two conflicting ideas.
Right.
Either it's all the men would want girls because all the girls are really popular and all the guys like the girls and want the girls.
Or they all hate
or
them.
they're being X'd out.
Right.
Both of those messages are not true.
Nope.
The truth is that it was a nerd-driven field for a long time, and unfortunately, in the nerdy way, more men or young men were interested in computers and computer games and things like that. And those things developed that way, and then girls started doing it more too, and now they're entering the workplace. That's the truth.
Yeah, biologically, naturally, I think men are just drawn to scientific, technological things more often than women. Not saying there aren't women that are, because there absolutely are women that are.
Yeah.
But,
well,
you know, more often than not, more men are drawn to it. It doesn't mean that it's a whole conspiracy against women. That is
well, that's
Good morning,
the truth
Preston.
is, in about 40 years, we'll see in the tech industry that it's very blended.
Yes.
Probably we will see in most industries that it's very blended. We had a change a while ago where women started getting involved in those kinds of things. It's not that they were kept out, but now they're getting involved.
Yeah,
and now they like it and they're doing their own things and et cetera, et cetera. I hope that we get to more of a gender neutral situation where we're just talking about the worker, and it doesn't really matter whether they're male or female, because we automatically know that both men or women can do it if they wanted to.
Absolutely. And that includes race, religion, everything.
Yeah,
you know?
a blended environment, everything,
Human.
just like
human.
Right.
Just look at people like they're a human. It doesn't matter, right? Say that you have a shitty character. All of those other things, whether you're a man, a woman, black, white, Asian, whatever, none of that should matter. If your character sucks, your character sucks. If it doesn't, it doesn't. That's where we need to get to as a society.
Well, that's why Martin Luther King Jr. I mean, that's basically that's how I live, is I judge people on the basis of their content of their character, and their content of their character. If they suck, they suck.
Yes.
And I'm not with it at all.
And I would say that Martin Luther King Jr. would be really disappointed with the way that society is right now, because
Oh, I wouldn't. I can't make a judgment call for a man that I'd never met,
right.
that
But
I
what I'm
have
saying
only
is,
read a little bit about. I understand your point.
Yeah.
I just think he left those kernels of wisdom, and that we need to
Yes.
pick them up and start looking at the world and move forward that way.
I
I don't
blame
know.
the media,
I
right?
don't.
Because what happens
Hmm?
is, I blame the media for a
Oh, good
lot
night,
of it,
Jenna.
because what happens is they say, when they're covering stories, right, they'll throw in whatever religion they are, whatever race they are, and to say this or that, and that's what keeps driving this thing that is so dividing in our country. And that's, I hope
Well,
and
we
pray
have
that one day
division.
we
We
get to
have
that.
division about everything going
Yes.
on around us all the time. We have division about men versus women. What we have division with ethnic background. We have division with religion. We have division with sexual preferences. We have division with. I mean, it really, truly. Like, honestly, I really hope that anyone who is gay stops feeling like if they have to be out or anything. It's there. I've
Mhm.
never worked with someone and wondered about their sexuality,
No.
where, like, what I'm saying is, when I'm working with someone, I don't out myself as a heterosexual.
Yeah, you don't care who they're sleeping with that night. I am 100%.
And they shouldn't have to out themselves as a homosexual. That's their own business. That's my own
That's their,
business. What are we doing?
that's
Like,
their
why do
right.
they have, why does anyone even need to even care about what they do at home legally with another person consensually?
Because the media puts such an emphasis on those kinds of things, and they keep on pushing it and pushing it. And you're
You know what?
absolutely right. Sex is for the house. It's not for, out in public, and to always have to feel like you have to defend yourself. That's where we need to get past. But saying
Well,
that is defensive to some people. Like, some people are offended, right? Because I've said before in the past, the N word, right? I hate the word. Obviously, I would never use it. I think it's malicious, but I do think that people have to stop giving it power, so then we can move past just being able to have friggin'
I would
all out
say,
war over a word.
instead of looking at these microscopic back to bigger division problems,
Yes.
where it's one specific thing.
Yes.
Like, okay, for instance, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine about police brutality,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the truth is there are Black people who are getting killed by police officers. There's also Hispanic people getting killed
Yes.
by police officers. There's gay people getting killed by police officers. There's all of that.
There's
And what
probably
we
white
really need to
people
look at,
getting killed by police
instead of,
officers as well.
instead of the specifics
Yes.
of one part of the overall problem, because
Yeah.
the overall problem is police. How are we dealing with our police in general? It's like the umbrella, and then each of the pieces is like one of the spokes. So everyone's focused on the spokes,
Yeah.
and everyone can see their spokes and totally see what's going on with their spokes. But no one's looking at the overall umbrella part that we need to, it's horrible in this country that these are people that they are in an environment, their work environment gives them PTSD.
Yes.
On purpose.
Absolutely.
It's going to be that way, and there's no way for it not to. However, we can start implementing programs for them to alleviate the symptoms of the PTSD. We need more money to go to police funding so that they can have more time off. We need to get back to a community of we can trust them, and we don't see them acting irrationally, and we're not fed that by the media too,
I think
for
that
every
also the flip part of that is too that here's the part, the PTSD, of course, right? Because we have guns.
We don't want them to be hair trigger out there. We do not want them jumping and being startled. We don't want them getting to the point where, okay, a person who worked at a corrections facility told me once that they have to be very careful because they can start when they go home. They can start institutionalizing their house, meaning they're so used to ordering inmates around and the way they have to talk to the inmates in that situation, because these are the people who are there because of murder and stuff like that, right? So they have to behave a certain way. But to check out of that mindset and not come home to their kids and their wife and be ordering them to do stuff and talking to them in a certain way. So if you imagine that that's what's going on, right? That's a whole level of tension. And then we also need psychological evaluations on a regular basis.
I was just about to say what you talked about before. Bring in the stigma off of any kind of mental disease or whatever. That would help so many of these problems in America. Oh, well, in the world, really, but in America. So many, right? Because the gun situation could be helped. That's the main stemming thing, is that. And then this situation, so many situations stem from the fact that we don't help people the way that we should mentally because of the stigma. If we could get rid of that completely, it would be so much better.
And even getting to the point where people reach out, reach out, and there's no, I hope that we get to a point where everyone has a mental physical every year, the same way that they have a physical every year.
Absolutely.
Because it truly is what's called mental illness for a reason. Illnesses can be cured. And so oftentimes people will not reach out for help when they need it.
Especially a police officer, right? Imagine being a police officer.
No,
and then
in general, reaching out for help because they don't even know. First of all, they don't know about mental illness to even know if they are having symptoms.
Yes.
So they might be ignoring symptoms like crazy, not even knowing that those are symptoms of an illness, just the same way as when you have the flu, you throw up. Mental illness has symptoms.
You can't know something if you've never learned about it. You can't know about it.
Right. You just feel the way you feel.
Yeah.
So you don't necessarily know that it might be an illness related, like PTSD or CPTSD or something like that.
And even people don't know that there's anything you can do about it. Like, I didn't know until I talked to you that I thought once
that you
were there.
Once you had it, you had it. Yeah. No, you can reduce symptoms. You can move on and actually alleviate it and start living a better life. Totally.
That's the scary part about it, right? Like, if you think, oh, if I have mental illness, first of all, there's the stigma. So it's already like a scary thing, right? Because it's for so many years been portrayed that way. So you have that. And then if you think there's nothing you can do about it, your only options are to be on medication for the rest of your life or deal with it. Because personally, that's what I thought. So I'm sure there's a lot of people that think that way. You're not going to speak out, right? Because it's if you don't think about something, it goes away type mentality. You know what I mean? Like, once you face it and there's nothing to be done about it in your mind, you think there's nothing to be done. It's a scary situation. It's scary.
Well, and then you're right that most of the public have a perception that once that person is diagnosed with PTSD, that's it. So if they think of a police officer being diagnosed with PTSD, just like someone just wrote in the chat, they do very much think about their jobs.
Yes, that's
what it should be.
Yes, could you
imagine?
imagine?
What it should be that they should feel very, very safe, that they can identify those things. And then get, like I said, we should be giving them way more time off because of the work situation that they do for all of us. But we need to make sure that there's training and they are mentally evaluated, and we do keep a healthy police force out there because
it's a hard job. Every day going out and knowing, right? In your mind.
And as we know, the media wants us to see it's a big, big problem. So how do we address the problem? We need to fund things for them.
Absolutely.
We need to get way more training. We need to have mental evaluations that are done that they can feel secure that they're not going to lose their job. They just go through a little mental health clinic. That's all they do.
And the media, right? The media portraying it the way that they do is only going to make it worse, right? Because people, civilians, us, see this and think every cop is that way, or it's always going to be that way. So then the civilians are way more defensive than they normally would be. It's an escalating, out of control cycle that something needs to be done about it.
Well, and that's where we step in as citizens. So we can start saying loudly, we need to talk about PTSD. We want to talk about things we're learning. Like, like I announced Richard Gannon's 9 a.m. on Thursday. He's having a CPTSD health workshop. It would help anyone who's suffering with anxiety. It would help anyone who's suffering with any kind of abuse situation. Anyone that's dealing with toxic relationships, anyone who ever has dealt with that, would be helped by his little seminar he's doing, and he's making it free to all subscribers. So if you want to go subscribe to the Spartan Life Coach, it'll be 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursday. But all of us can benefit. Look, if you've been in a major car accident, if you've had anything traumatic happen, if you've witnessed a robbery, if you have had any kind of abuse in your life ever or now, if you have ever had any kind of a scary, life-threatening situation happen, if you faced major fear over a situation, you got a post-traumatic response.
I want to talk about it on my channel to the point that it's as normal because it should be, right? It should.
Yes, it happens
as normal as going to the doctor about.
Yes, and the response is automatic, and it happens to just everyone. I mean, it's a life-saving response. It's a response that happened because you had to say you were in a life-threatening situation, and your brain goes in a wash of chemicals, and you get stuck in a certain state, and then after about 30 days, you're coming out of it. Some people, because maybe they've had past trauma that wasn't dealt with, or for me, I had childhood trauma. And so that had already wired my brain that way. Mm-hmm. So when I had the trauma response, then I got stuck on the trauma response because it was easy for my brain.
Yeah.
And so then you don't come out of it. So then you need help to get you out of it, which I did.
In which, if you don't know that the help is even there, like I said before, you don't
do it. You don't do it.
You just
yes, and you deal with the symptoms, and you deal with, and I did for a very long time, deal with symptoms. I just didn't know what it was, and it kind of fueled my job because I was in sales. When I was anxious, I could always go chase sales as a distraction. Mm-hmm. And that kind of stuff. So I got rewarded with my job in a PTSD state. But I do know that now I don't react like a hair trigger reaction anymore and all those things.
Your life, right? Because I'm sitting here thinking, because I don't know how to deal with certain situations. I didn't even know that it was an option to deal with anything differently, right? I just thought I was the way that I was. And I before recently, I have never even talked about the way that I felt and like the anxiety that I have and whatnot. But it changes your life because you deal with the symptoms and you change the way that you do things, or it makes you different when you don't have to be that way.
Right. Well,
if you know that
because I thought I didn't know I was so reactive before until I wasn't anymore.
Yeah, because you don't think about these things at the time, right? Because
no, I was living with the symptoms. I was living with the symptoms for years and years and years.
It's not fun though, right? To think
Not
about
at all.
something that you can't change in your mind. If you think that that's just the way that it is, you don't want to think about that and internalize it and worry even more when that's what you do on a regular basis anyways, you know?
And that's where it comes into the fear too, where not only is there a stigma about mental illnesses and things like that, but there's also the fear that there's nothing that can be done about it.
Absolutely. I 100% until we had that panel, like a week ago, I had no idea that it was a possibility. None whatsoever. I just had said to myself, you know, I don't want to take medication. So it is what it is. You know, I didn't know that I could actually try to make a difference and not even have to consider taking medication.
Yeah. And what a difference it makes too of not reacting to news or something like that, to choose how you're going to react, to choose how you're going to behave instead of a jumping the gun reaction. It makes a tremendous difference in anyone's life if they're picking what they're going to do instead of reacting.
Yeah. Even with my kids, right? Anything, it just changes you in the way that you live because you don't know that there's any other options. And just like I don't know how this stigma got so attached to this. I don't know how it happened, but it is there and it's really bad.
Well, because if you think about it, you know, mental health, we could see the brain before. Okay, we've always been able to autopsy, etc., and see what a brain was. But to see now what we do, where we can see where different thoughts occur in the brain.
Okay.
We couldn't see that before.
Right. Okay.
So that makes sense. We couldn't see activity. It just was a blob, like a heart. We could see it beating, but the brain doesn't beat or anything.
So we didn't understand. We didn't even know.
We didn't know that thoughts occur in different areas, that now we've isolated where memory is. Now we know what the startle response is. Now we know what all these things are. We know what happens in the brain. Like, okay, so imagine a light switch is hooked up to the electric current and there's those lines behind the walls.
Mm-hmm.
We know what that looks like because we can turn on the switch and that thing powers the light bulb, right? Well, now we have that track laid where we can see that response, how it maps out in the brain. The same way that a light switch. So if something happens that startles you, there's a path that we now know of where that pattern goes in your brain, what happens.
Do you think
we couldn't see that before?
Do you think eventually that I know it'll probably take a long time, but do you think eventually in the future that it will be as normal to go to the doctor or to get mental health evaluation as it is to get a checkup or to see a doctor about diabetes? I mean, if you're sick, you go to the doctor. It's a normal.
Well, that's my hope, is that people understand. I wish that, like, for instance, let's say some children are being removed by CPS somewhere or something.
Yeah.
Immediately, they should be under a very, very specific psychological care.
Yeah, because that automatically causes PTSD, right?
Well, not only that, you think about these children, they were just ripped from their home. They don't know what's going on. We need to take care of their brain. So what can we do? How they need someone who steps in immediately and is there pretty much with them a lot, like a psychological professional who is constantly there with them, who is their friend with whatever's going to happen.
Right.
Because all of a sudden they have no one that they've ever seen. So they have to have some regular person.
And that person doesn't know how to deal with that, you know, because if you're not trained.
What I'm saying is what we need in the future. What we really need is, if they're going to foster, if whatever, they get assigned a psychological professional that no matter if they get put in foster care, whatever foster home they're in, whatever, it's that same person who they can rely on, that is their person.
Absolutely. Yes.
And they can tell them things, and that's their advocate, and that's their mental health professional, and that's their friend, and that's their, we need to have more of an embracing look at the fact that psychological illness is just that. It's an illness. Sometimes it's managed both through therapies and drugs, usually only for a short time. Sometimes it ends up being that you have a medication that you take, but it alleviates all of the symptoms of things. And when there's something like PTSD is something that can very much be helped with therapies. Right. And if you're feeling any kind of an anxiousness, if you're feeling kind of those kinds of things, there are thought therapies. Someone asked if I was familiar with borderline personality. I am. I agree with the medical professionals that say borderline personality disorder. There is such a variance of symptoms that it should be categorized. Like for a long time, bipolar was just bipolar, but now we know that there's bipolar 1 and bipolar 2. Borderline personality is the same thing. There are people, it's almost like an autism spectrum. There are people with borderline who they can go through therapies and you learn things like DBT and things like that help them tremendously. And then there are those who are malignant in their borderline, and we can't help them yet. So,
but the earlier, it seems that in this case with anything, if the earlier that we started with anybody, right? Because it's just not a normal thing yet. But if it was the case that in children young, started showing symptoms of any kind of disorder, that if they got help, the younger they got help and the sooner that they had that person that you were talking about, I think it would help them more.
Yes. Like I would love to see a world, like I said, where if you go get a physical, you also get a mental health checkup, because things happen. Like I said, if you witness a robbery, if you got in a car accident, if you witnessed a car accident, if you, there's so many things that can happen that can give you a PTSR, which is the post-traumatic stress response, right? PTSR. If you get stuck with the PTSR, if you get stuck in that thinking, okay, let's say it's a perfect storm, like you said. Okay, let's say that someone has someone pass away in their family. At the same time, 3 weeks later, they witnessed a car accident. Right there, you have a double whammy of a huge, huge stress response, and you have them a couple weeks apart.
And normally, the way that it is now, they wouldn't even probably get any kind of help for that.
Yeah, they wouldn't even know that
to deal with it.
Right. And in that way, when we're raised the way that we were pretty much all raised, we were given coping skills. We weren't sat down and taught, like, this is how, when something traumatic happens, this is what you need to do for yourself.
Yeah. Nobody knows. Not nobody, but most people don't know that at all.
Right.
And like for me, growing up, it was abnormal because my mom started taking Zoloft, and in my mind, I said to her, "What's wrong with you? Why can't you just, get it together?" You know what I mean? Like I didn't understand because just the way that I was raised around people. To me, it was something bad. I had no idea. I've apologized to her now, obviously, but whenever I was younger, like a teenager, I was like, "What the fuck is wrong with you, woman? Why can't you just get it together?" I had no idea.
Exactly. And instead of talking about it and learning about it, that's why the books that I'm writing currently, the first one is about when I adopted Onyx and Omi, the two blues that I have. You've seen them, haven't you?
Babies, yes.
The blue dogs. And I adopted them, I rescued them, and both of them that were stuck in a PTSD state. Omi was in freeze. When I got her, she was frozen. And when I got Onyx, he was in flight. And so I unlocked them basically from that. And in doing that is where I got the idea to write these books, from doing it with rescue dogs, so that it could be something that people could read without a stigma with people, and without it having to be about learning about mental illness with people. It's kind of just understanding the state of mind,
Right. Yes.
that it's just a state of mind, and that state of mind can be changed.
It seems so like, it seems so obvious and so like, what the fuck? Why don't people see this? But it's been a certain way for so long that I get that it takes time, but it's really frustrating that it's not just a overnight, like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Get it together. Like this, something can be fixed about this. This is something that can be changed, but it's gonna, I know things like that take a while, it takes a long time to change something that's been one way for so long.
Yeah. And, a lot of times we do have just patterns of behavior or things like that, and we all do. And remember, we were talking about police officers. They have their own history and their own coping tools that may not be effective. We don't know, because we don't know what the public doesn't know.
Right. Yeah. And that's another thing too, that if that is the case, that could be something that's implemented automatically from their training from get-go,
Well, it would be helpful, tremendously helpful, if we get to the point where we're teaching children the right coping skills.
Absolutely.
So that as they grow up, we have a society that isn't prone to reaction. They're really more prone to think about things and decide how they want to react to them, instead of being reactive. Right now, it's overwhelmingly that we have a reactive society.
With technology, though, that's the downfall, is because people are so preoccupied, they don't even think about what they're thinking or reacting to. I think we're so preoccupied. It's crazy.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, it's always next. What's the notification? We're jumping from one thing to another, to another, to another, to another. Everything is like, okay, it's not even breathing in between.
Like, I didn't even know what the internet was until I was much older, right? But kids now, as soon as they can swipe left and click on an app, they have a tablet in their hand, and it has to be changing people's brains. It has to be. There's no way that it's not.
Well, and Carly just said in the chat, she said that, yes, Sassy, I was diagnosed having borderline when I was 20, and I absolutely believe that diagnosis was correct. Now I'm 42, and I am being told by my psychologist and my psychiatrist that I no longer have traits of BPD, which I do agree with. I believe I had the disorder, but I've learned to maybe matured enough to know how to handle life the way I'm supposed to. And it really is. Like,
That's
you
awesome.
grow up and you get to a certain age, the brain doesn't mature until 25 in the first place. So there's a lot that can go on with the maturing process. I know a lot of things that I did or thought or acted upon, or whatever motivations, etc., were way different in my 20s than they are now.
I'm a different person. I would go as far to say that I am a different person almost than I was then. I don't even know that person.
I would say, I always ask the people who have been in my life like a long time, because my brother definitely, I think I said this yesterday. He says, you forget where you said something. But he says I use my powers for good now. And he's so happy that I use my powers for good. Because like when he was in high school, he's 5 years older than I was. When he was in high school, there was one of his friends that liked me that I gave him a stutter.
How?
I was like 14. Being a bitch. I mean, I was bitch. My brother
Yeah.
used to tell his friends, like, I don't care that you want to date her. I don't care if you want to go out with her. I'm not saying no because I'm her big brother. It's not like that. Like, he wasn't being like the protective big brother. He would tell them, she will reach into your chest, rip your heart out and eat it for lunch. I've seen it. You do
Right.
not.
So stay away from her. Warning.
You do. Yes, you do not want to go out with her. I know you're saying you want to, and you really like my sister. I can tell you really like my sister. Do not like my sister.
Yeah. I
was,
would say to people that are like 25 or younger,
when I was a
won't
teenager, I
know
was
yourself.
rotten.
Yeah,
I
you
was
won't know
rotten.
yourself in 10 years. I, honest to God, don't know her. That girl back then, I don't know her. She's a
Yeah.
different person.
Well, and I ask them sometimes like how different it is. And they said, we could always see that there was this part of you in there somewhere sometimes. Like sometimes it would come out and everyone would enjoy the fact that we got to see it, but it wasn't out very often. And now I live with that part only out.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. Yeah. And I totally made life-changing decisions because I wasn't fully matured, but of course at the time you think you fucking know everything. You know nothing.
Yeah.
Listen to me. You know nothing. And like in 10 years from now, I'll probably be like, bitch, and right now, she didn't know anything.
Nothing. Yeah. Because that's what you say along the way is you look back and but there's the things that you have to understand that the mistakes that you make when I look back at mistakes that I made in my 20s, I don't kick myself for them at all. And I don't say I wish I never went through it because in my life, I've learned to go back and pick up all the positive that I can from any situation that I can and move forward. So in that way, I like who I am and all of the pieces of the way that I look at the world, etc., all those things are all because of all of those experiences, both good and bad. So I have to embrace it all. It's just my history.
Right. Yeah. I don't regret it because here's the thing, right? I'm the person I am because of the things those choices that I've made and what I've been through. I don't regret it. And I'm glad that I have those life experiences. I'm just glad that I'm not still in those same life experiences.
Right. Right. Yeah. There'll be new ones and you don't know what those are going to be.
Nope. Hopefully I make better decisions in the future than I did in the past.
And that's what the CPTSD therapy that Richard's going to have on Thursday at 9 a.m. Eastern time. If anyone is subscribed or can go over and subscribe to the Spartan Life Coach on YouTube. Anyway, those things that he's going to be doing, those therapies, they enable you to move forward, making hopefully, if you do like the activities, they're proven, but they are things that you have to do on your own and that you just have to believe works in the beginning, because really it's just a switch of your mind. It's like a railroad when the switch goes and the train goes to the other track.
Right.
It really is that kind of a thing, and you have to actively do it because no one's in your head with you.
You have to want it too, right? Like 10 years ago, even having this conversation, I would have been like, shut up.
I know.
Drama. You know what I mean?
The hardest lesson that I have learned, and I learned this one just recently, very recently, you cannot help someone who will not help themselves. So if someone does not want to help themselves, there's nothing you can do.
Harley will be on my channel at least once a week.
What?
She said she wants to hear much more. I told her we'll be on my channel at least once a week, probably more than that. And
it would be great if we could do a learning about PTSD kind of like thing, or learning about mental illness, and in general, and kind of because lots of people suffer from anxiety, or they suffer from
my platform to make it as normalized as I possibly can in my little corner of the world. Whatever I can do for for my subscribers for it to feel normal, to feel that way, and to do, the proper steps to be healthy. I want to do that. Whatever.
That is the worst. That's the worst part, is that people think it's abnormal. It's actually normal. It actually is
really
normal.
Most people,
It's
I would say most people have some sort of trauma or some sort of PTSD at one point or another and have dealt with it. It's more normal.
Yes.
It's more common than not.
Well,
it's
that's
that stupid stigma that's attached to it.
yes. And the more that we look at society, we have society that's breeding a stressed out society.
Yes.
The way our society runs breeds stress.
Mhm.
Everything is next. We are supposed to be multitasking all the time.
Mhm.
Our attention span is shrinking. We're very reactive. There's a lot of that already creates
anxiety. Everything is really anxiety ridden because it's so fast paced and next and what's coming, and don't worry about the future and think about that. You don't get a chance to breathe. You have
which is why you carve out a chance.
Yes,
which is why you take 10 or 15 minutes in the morning and you practice mindfulness, and you practice it and you practice it and you practice it, and it's called practicing mindfulness, because at first you're not going to be able to keep your thoughts with you only in the moment. You're going to find that you're thinking about what happened last night, or what happens, or what you need to do next, or that you're going to find that your brain automatically starts thinking about things.
Right.
And that's when you stop it and you go,